the 10 default Google Ads settings that you must adjust to get optimal performance. So if your goal is more than clicks, if your goal is more than to spend money with Google, then you're going to want to adjust these default settings to get better ROI and a lower cost per lead. I'm going to go through each one by one. My name is Ryder Meehan. I am a co-founder here at Upgrow. I've been running Google Ads for about 15 years. And so I look forward to sharing some tips and tricks with you right now.
All right, number one. This one is straight off the bat. When you create a new Google Ads account, this is typically the screen you're going to get as soon as you go into the creation mode. So they want to really encourage you to take the Express account route. There's an Express account route, and then there's the Expert mode, which is more the classic Google Ads setup that those of us that have been in Google Ads for a long time are more familiar with. If you're using the Express account or the Smart campaigns, it's very restrictive. Google tries to do a lot of the setup for you, but because of that, it becomes very generic, and you really release a lot of control over to Google. It's almost like a socialist Google Ads account program where you have very limited rights, and they try to make it very easy for you. But if you want to take more control, if you really want to try to tweak and optimize performance, you're going to want to skip that completely and find this little link down here to switch to Expert mode if you're a professional marketer, and don't be too intimidated. So that's step number one. Step number two is the goal guidance. So even though we've just gone into the Expert mode, the Google Ads Expert mode away from Express, they then try to funnel you into creating a goal, selecting a goal guidance basically. So they want you to select what you're trying to achieve, whether it be sales, leads, traffic, app promotion. So you can select one of those. Generally, we advise not to. Again, those are going to try to push you into more of an automated setup and give you less control. So we like to create an account, either create an account without a campaign and you can just create your campaigns from the classic interface, or create a campaign without goals guidance. I would just skip it and click this. Okay, so next we go to create our first campaign. A new campaign, and you'll want to go straight for create it without the goal guidance. And let's say we're doing a search campaign. And you can see they want to go ahead and lump display in with your search campaign. Definitely a dangerous default setting. You always want to disable Google Display Network. And another thing you want to do 90% of the time is disable the search partners network, because when you're first starting, you want to kind of control the traffic. Google is a bit more of a premium search engine by comparison to the search partners, which would include like lower end search engines, search results for e-commerce stores, like a variety of search partners that you're not even sure who they are. So if you get to a point where you have enough traffic and you want to expand your reach, maybe come back and enable this, especially for a brand campaign. But most of the time, you want to go ahead and disable that as well. The next thing we're looking at is bidding. So they want to set the bidding to clicks as the default. And then they kind of warn you, do not recommend using a different types of bid strategy other than maximize clicks. What maximize clicks will do is get you as many clicks as possible, but what your end goal is conversions, not clicks, right? So use this, super dangerous change. You want to go with the Manual CPC. Manual CPC will give you a lot more control as the as you optimize. So you can set each keyword's bid or each ad group's bid to exactly what you want. And that is pretty much that. Next up is keywords. So you'll need to create keywords. So the first thing you'll do is click to add your first keyword. And you can use some help here from Google. They help you with keyword ideas. So you might put in your website. Our agency is upgrowth.io. And so you're sort of like, oh great, these keywords are relevant to me. I can go through and select the ones that I want. But you'll notice down here there's match types, and if you're not familiar with match types yet, you'll definitely want to read up and learn more about those. But by default, they're using broad match, or what some people call pure match, because there's also broad match modifier, which is a better match type in my opinion. And what broad match will do is, again, give a lot more control and liberties to Google. So with broad match, they'll pretty much determine what they consider to be closely related to, in this example, online marketing or digital marketing agency. So it could be really broad. It could be too broad most of the time, in my opinion. So what you can do is use broad match modifier instead, or phrase match or exact match. So with broad match modifier, you just put a plus in front of these words, and then you're telling Google, okay, I do want to rank for this keyword, but only if it has exactly this word in the search. So you can put the plus in front of the words that you basically demand be in the search if you want your ad to appear against it. So that's broad match modifier. You could also use exact match with the little brackets or quotation marks for phrase match. But again, if you're not familiar with the match types, definitely suggest reading up on those. But you will want to avoid almost all of the time using pure match or broad match. All right, this next one is for display. So if you do want to run display ads, whether it's retargeting or targeting placements or however else you want to target with display, you would just create a new campaign and select display. And I will say, like, most of the time I would just create this with AdWords Editor. So you could do that alternatively, but I think most people are more familiar with the interface, with the online interface, but it would kind of work the same way. So with the display, what we'll notice is when we create it, again, the bidding, you'll want to adjust this to the unrecommended type, which would be Manual CPC. You can set your budget at whatever you like. And so what I'm gonna get at is the network that it's gonna run for you. And so the network includes a lot of junk categories and sites that you'll want to exclude. Namely the in-app ads. You get a lot of erroneous clicks because the ads kind of pop up on a small screen right under people's fingers. I call it like fat finger clicks. And those are really going to drive up your cost, and very few of those users convert. So how you can adjust that is just come back to settings, placements, and you want to go to exclusions, and then the pencil, exclude placements, And they used to allow you to exclude all the app categories in a single click. Now they basically want you to, select every one by one, which isn't too bad. But just select every app category and add them to exclusion list, and then you should be good there. It's not too many, so it might take a minute or so, and then when you're done you can save it. So that's that one. Alright, so this next default setting that you want to change has to do with the geo-targeting settings. By default, you're geographically be targeting the location that you're in. So I'm in the US, so by default it's targeting the US, and I can adjust this in this settings section of any campaign. When I expand this and click location options, by default it will have selected people in or show interest in your targeted location. I don't like targeting people who show interest in the targeted location. You could have people in another country or outside your service area seeing your ads, clicking them, and driving up costs even though you can't service them. Instead, you want to go with people in or regularly in your targeted location. And if you want to be extra safe, you could also exclude certain countries that you particularly don't want traffic from, just in case somebody is regularly in your location, but maybe they're currently in another location. So you'll want to make that adjustment. All right, this next one is for ad extensions. Ad extensions, you'll definitely want to add them to your account, but you'll want to avoid the automated extensions. So if you come into any ad group, and you'll have to do this for all of your ad groups, and come to ads and extensions, find the automated extensions here. Then you'll want to click on this more, the triple dot more, advanced options. Turn off specific automated extensions. And you'll want to turn them all off. The reason being is, you can put whatever comment you want, but it does force you to do it. You want to turn them all off because it will create kind of clunky, weird looking automated extensions that don't look good, they don't read well, and you'll be losing out on one of your other extensions when it shows one of these automated ones. So you will want to go through and make sure all of these are turned off. And this last tip I've got for you is for the ads. By default, it's going to be showing what it considers the best performing ad. What I like to do is instead get a more even split test of the different ads I create, so I can see which one does well. Otherwise, you find that one ad gets like 90% of the impressions, and the other one never really gets much of a chance to perform. So you'll want to come to the campaign and come back to settings and open this additional settings section and find ad rotation. And you can see it's prefer best performing ad. I like to go instead with do not optimize, rotate ads indefinitely, and go ahead and save that.
Hey, thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button, give us a like. If you want to learn more about Upgrow, head over to upgrow.io.